Welcome to our NHL and NBC studios. This is our YouTube show, Push for the Playoffs. Lee McHugh, Mike Milbury, and Keith Jones. Here is the lineup for episode number 2. Will Carey Price lead Montreal to the playoffs? We have the March of the Penguins late in the season. Will the Stars align in the West? We'll talk about Dallas. And are the Sharks the team to beat out in the Western Conference? Let's begin with Carey Price, because on Tuesday, his team got a much-needed win, 3-1 over Detroit. He was in nets, and in the process, he broke the tie with Jacques Plante for the most wins in franchise history. You look at the names up there, it's obviously a major milestone for a storied franchise, and it's an accomplishment that clearly meant a great deal to Price.
Obviously, I'm very proud of this, and to thank my teammates for tonight's effort. They played very well, and to thank all my previous teammates that I've played with, and everybody that has helped me get to this point. Without my family support, my parents and my wife and my new children and my aunt Sue back home, there's a lot of people in my family and within my circles that have helped me along the way, and it's hard to not get emotional about it.
Okay, he's got the wins, but his team right now, clearly a bubble team. You have Carey Price in net. Do they have enough to make the playoffs?
I don't think they're going to make it, but with Price, I guess that's the one key guy that can actually put them in a position where they could make it. But I don't think they have enough in front of them. Carey Price has been fabulous all season long. That's great news. Last year was an injury-riddled season for Carey Price. He's got his game back and came up with, again, key saves and beating the Red Wings last night. But it's a very difficult task, especially with the division that Montreal sits in. You think of teams like Toronto, Boston, and obviously Tampa Bay. And Montreal is going to have some games against the division rivals that are going to be, in my mind, too difficult of a task to get them in the playoffs.
A tremendous goaltender, but he'll never be the greatest goaltender to play in Montreal. I mean, Ken Dryden owned the Cup for 4 years in a row. Patrick Roy was a saint until it finally blew up for him eventually, and he had to run out of town. And certainly Jacques Plante, when the Canadians in another era were owning the Stanley Cup year after year. And when you're in Montreal, they measure your greatness by winning Stanley Cups.
Yeah, and first step is you got to get in the playoffs, and right now that could be a tall order for Montreal. Meanwhile, you have Pittsburgh, a team that's surging right now in the stretch. Looks like they're headed for the postseason. Wasn't long ago that you would not have included them as a team that's a threat to win the Cup. You starting to change your mind?
I am, and the reason why is they're playing a whole lot better, including Sidney Crosby, who's playing as well as anybody in the National Hockey League right now. The Pittsburgh Penguins know how to get it done when it counts, and here's a team that has put it together. Malkin, who struggled at times, has come back of late to play some significant hockey, and there isn't any doubt when you get passes like this, it's a great alley-oop pass to Crosby. He has to corral it. He makes a great move here just the other night against Washington. And they're getting it done from everybody, and there's Matt Murray, who obviously knows how to win championships and has played at a much improved level in recent games. So they are, despite all these problems that you've seen them have, starting to come together at the right time, and that's a large part of playoff success. Timing may not be everything in the playoffs, but it's a large part of it.
They get these players back, do you think what of the Pens?
That they're extremely dangerous, and I would not want to play them in the playoffs. They've been there before. I think last year having a shortened season, getting beat out by Washington, gives them plenty of motivation. I think they are energized now, and I think they've got their swagger back. And I also think Jimmy Rutherford did a very good job of adding some pieces that are contributing right now to their success, including Jared McCann, that's fit in seamlessly there and is doing a really nice job in all facets of the game.
All right, let's move to the West, talk about the Wildcard. The Dallas Stars looking a little bit stronger. Ben Bishop, he's definitely standing tall in goal at this point right now. When you think of the Dallas Stars, are you starting to see them as potentially a dangerous team?
Absolutely, and it's all about the way they're defending now, and Bishop has been the benefactor of that. He has played well. He's made a bunch of key saves, but Dallas has tightened things up defensively, done a very good job protecting their netminder, doing well in clearing the front of the net. They've also done a great job in blocking shots recently, and that has been a huge plus for this Dallas Stars team. Jim Montgomery deserves a lot of credit for getting what you looked at as a highly offensive team to start to concentrate on playing defensive hockey, and that's why the Dallas Stars are being dangerous right now.
Well, the first three teams we talked about, Montreal, Pittsburgh, Stars, everyone had a goaltender that was hot. There's no coincidence that if your goaltender gets hot, you get a chance to win, and your confidence starts to soar, and that's what's happening in Dallas. It's also happening in San Jose.
Yeah, not a team that you would necessarily define by their goaltending, but you look at them, and they're making a major move to try to be the #1 seed in the West, which is big because, first off, you want to avoid Vegas in the first round. You've said that they compare in many ways to the Caps of last season. How?
They compare in that for many years there were high expectations for the San Jose Sharks, but they didn't meet those expectations. They got to the Stanley Cup final, but they came up a little bit short against Pittsburgh. But now here they are in another situation where they seem to have added depth. Erik Karlsson hopefully will be healthy, but they have a pretty darn good team here. And it starts off with Joe Pavelski, the 34-year-old, is working on a 40-goal season. The clock's running on this guy, too, not just Thornton. And this guy, Brent Burns, is having a heck of a year. He is a machine, leads the team in points, up over 70 points for him. And Martin Jones, as we talked about, the goaltender, has given them a lot of confidence with the way he's played. So very quietly, but very efficiently, I think Doug Wilson's done a good job of putting it together. And this team, I think, is poised to make another run at a Stanley Cup championship. I think they should be taken very seriously.
Yeah, and Evander Kane not in the lineup right now. Timo Meier picking up goals. It's coming easy for him right now, too. They've got a powerful game that they can play. Very good on the forecheck. They play with energy, and I would agree with Mike. They've just quietly gone about doing their thing over there in the Pacific Division. Had a very good year and look poised to make a good run.
All right, the push for the playoffs continues into the final month of the regular season.